When we talk about these Microsoft 365 applications that we have together, it's amazing how well they integrate together. So when we talk about this integration that we have with our subject today, taking Outlook with To Do and Planner and bringing them all together, it's seamless. And just to kind of keep this in the back of your mind, of course, you can be doing all of this on your mobile device. You can be doing it on a tablet. You can be using the desktop app. Otherwise, you really can just go and log into your Microsoft account to have access to these as well. So I happen to be logged into my Microsoft account here right now. But what I wanted to kind of get started with here today is kind of just some key benefits of really for the finance and accounting professionals on integration with Outlook Planner and To Do. These are located in your handout as well, right on page 1. But one of the big benefits is really going to be that we have this central task management. To-dos, as you're going to see today, is more of a individual app that you could use to keep track of the things that you personally need to do. But we have this full connectivity to be utilizing To Do along with other apps like Microsoft Planner. So we could be going to Planner and have access to To-dos, and we could be doing it directly in the Planner app, or we could be doing it directly within Microsoft Teams. We have lots of different ways to access the information. Also, when it comes to benefits, improved deadline tracking, which is something I definitely need. We have the ability of having different views. When we put together these plans where we can have multiple people assigned to the plans and different things, we have different views that are going to be able to help us see things the way that we need to see them at any given time. So it helps us to know what's coming up that needs to be done by, or when does something need to be started by, etc. Excuse me. And we have better prioritization. So we have a way that inside our tasks, we can say if this is a high priority task, is it a low priority task? We can sort by task, we can view. There's a lot of different collaboration tools available in views that we can see. When it comes to the collaboration, if you're keeping track of these on page 1 for the key benefits, number 4 is enhanced collaboration, where we can actually assign tasks to other people. We can then be tracking the progress in real time, because if somebody is in there, because it's cloud-based, so multiple people can be in the same plan at the same time, we can actually see live updates of where things really are at any given time. Also reduces email overload. I don't know how many times I look at my emails and I say, this really is a task. Or I look at my calendar and it's like, that's not really an appointment. That's not really an event. That's a task. So it should be in the task. So we can kind of eliminate things from being in the wrong place by taking advantage of some of these. Also, we have increased accuracy and compliance. By having these checklists, we can make sure that the things that need to get done are actually getting done. We have that kind of checks and balances that way. Plus, there are huge time savings and automation that can actually be implemented with our to-dos and our planners as well. I don't know how many times I've said, what was I supposed to do today? What was I supposed to do last week? Did I get that finished? I don't have to worry about any of that. I know where everything is because I've changed my habits so that I am using To-Do and Planner to keep track of the projects I'm working on, to keep track of the individual personal tasks that I have. So we're going to actually start today in Microsoft To Do. How do you get to this application? Well, it is its own app available through your Microsoft 365 account. So I could come to the internet, log into my Microsoft account, and open it from my apps launcher. But I got to tell you, most of the time for me, I'm actually doing things through Outlook. So usually I'm going to come into Outlook. I'm going to go to the left-hand side, and the to-do icon is on the taskbar, or the menu bar, I should say, on the left-hand side by default. It's the blue check mark icon. Kind of easy to remember what it is when you see that check mark. But when you open up to do, what can you do in here? Microsoft has made a few improvements over the past year in this application to make it even more intuitive, more easy for us, more efficient for the way that it's being used. But you're going to actually see a list on the left-hand side of different views on the top part of the window that you can go into. So we have my day, important, planned, etc. But to start, I'm going to be in the tasks list. You can see on my right-hand side when I am clicked on tasks, this is a list of the tasks that I am actively working on. I'll go into a little bit more detail on how they got here and what you can store with them, but also down at the bottom, I have this shrunk up list of completed tasks. So if I want to see tasks that have already been completed from this list, I can expand that view and have access to those. So just so you could see, I do have a ability to be able to see those completed tasks, which as you can see on my list, if they're done, they're crossed off. Which, I don't know about you, but back when I used to use paper for everything, the best part was you had this list of 20 things you needed to do. When you were done, you crossed them off your list. So we can do that same exact thing and have that same wonderful feeling knowing we're crossing things off our list. But I'm going to shrink that back up and really kind of focus on my active tasks and how they get here. You can add a task multiple ways. One way to add a task is to go to the top and just click where it says add a task. Once you click in there, you can type in the name of your task. So what is it that your task is that you have to do? Let's say that I need to check with latest vendors for office supplies. I can just press enter, and that task is now on my task list. But I didn't put any detail to it. So if you want to add some detail to this task, you might want to go back and add in a little bit more. So when you're actually looking at my list of tasks, there's different columns that you can see. I have a column giving me the title, I have the date that it's due, I have the importance, but the view that I'm in right now, I'm not seeing tons of detail, but that's okay. But you can see that I could always go back to the task that I just created, which is actually right here. Check with latest vendor for office supplies. If I click that task, it opens up a pane on the right-hand side, giving me additional tools that I can add in. So with this task being check with latest vendors for office supplies, do I have different steps that I need to do to actually complete this task? You can add steps. If I click add step, I can then type in what is a step that I need to do to complete this task. I need to review current vendors. I could press enter and I could add in another step. Maybe I need to look at current office supplies. I can come in and I can keep adding the steps that I need to individually complete to complete the entire task. So it's kind of like subtasks to the main task. So great way to be able to organize things. They all belong to the name of the task. But also, I have the ability on this right-hand side to choose to add this to my day. If this is a task that I want to work on today, I can choose to add it to my day. I can take any task, whether it's coming from my to-do or coming from a planner, which I'll explain more in a minute. I can add those tasks to be a part of my day. So think about, how do you start your day? When you start working at the beginning of the day, what are your habits? Do you know what you're going to be working on that day? What this My Day allows us to do is to focus on the tasks at hand. We don't have to look at all 50 tasks we have to do. I want to focus on the ones I'm going to work on today. So all I have to do is click Add to My Day. This task is now still in my task list, but it's also added to my category on the left for my day. I'll come back to my day again in just a minute. I want to finish up with some details on this task. I could do a remind me. So if I'm going to work on this task today and I know I'm going to work on it at 1 o'clock this afternoon or whatever, I could actually choose a date and time that I want to actually be reminded. So I'm going to say that I want to be reminded at 3:30 today. I'm going to click save and then I'll get a reminder for that. Also, I can choose when is this due? When is this task actually due? I'm going to click the calendar and I'm going to say it's due Monday. I could pick a category. I could have it be reoccurring. I could add a file. I could add in notes. All kinds of details could be added to this task so you have one place to go to see all the details related to working on this task. But when I look at the very top of this right-hand side of the window, there's also this star icon. And I can see it here in my list of tasks. It's called importance. If I click that star, I'm telling the computer that I want this to be categorized as an important task. It's going to show up on the left-hand side in that category called important. Just so you could see, you have some additional tools you can use. But I can click on any task from my list and see the details on the right-hand side. So that's one way a task can actually get here. Just so you know, I want to show you one other way that a task can actually get here, and I'm going to go to Outlook. Not that this is the only other way, but when I come to Outlook, I can actually be in my email, and I could go to an email and say, I want to turn this email into a task. I can right-click on an email. At the bottom of my pop-up menu, I have advanced options. From there, I can choose create task. So I could take an email and turn it into a task, just so you're aware. And when I do that in email, it's going to open a pane on the right-hand side of my window showing me my to-dos. So I have access to my to-dos right from within my new Outlook as well. So just so you could see, that could happen if you wanted it to. Also, if you flag an email, so if you're an email flagger, you can flag an email, you could do a custom flag, get a reminder, those kind of things. Flagged email messages are also available in To Do. So if I go back to the left-hand side, click on To Do, I could stay here in this task, which everything that I have that I'm working on is listed here. But what else I can do in here is pretty exciting. So if I go to this important category, when I first start my day, I kind of think about what do I need to get done? Well, my important tasks or late tasks might be the ones I want to focus on today. From my important tasks, you can see that I have some that are overdue because they're in red under this due date. If I want these tasks to be part of what I'm going to work on today, I can select the task, and on the right-hand side, or by right-clicking the task, I can actually choose Add to my day. So just so you could see, tasks can be added to different places depending on where you need the emphasis of that type of task. So now you can see that if I go to the left-hand side, click My Day, I have 2 tasks that I added so far to my day, basically telling myself that these are the tasks I'm going to work on today. I need to work on that, checking on the vendors for my office supplies, and I need to add a new spreadsheet. So those are the things I can focus on today. I don't have to worry about all the others, but if I get these 2 done and I have extra time in the day, I can go back to the left-hand side and see what else do I want to work on. On the left-hand side, you're going to see another category called Planned. The Planned category is going to be any of the tasks that you have that are date related. Because I could have tasks on my task list that don't have any dates. These are ones that we've planned by implementing a date to them, by a due date, start date, end date, whatever your case might be. But watch the top of the screen, by the way, when you go into these different areas of to do, because there will be different views. So right now I happen to be on a view called grid. If I click list, I'm going to, and I have different categories here, so you could see that here's a task for today, here's a task for later. I could go into expand this earlier task, which is showing me a bunch of overdue ones. This is my play area, by the way, just so you know. But anyway, just so you could see that I have all these tasks. And you know what also is great? If you have a task that is coming up or that is past due, whether it's from Planner or To Do, you can get notifications of that. So you will be notified that you have some tasks that are coming up that are due, or if you have tasks that are overdue, you will get email notifications through the system, which is pretty great. So kind of watch the top part of the right-hand side of the window to see what your different menu choices are. Okay, so these are all tasks that have dates related to them. On the left-hand side, I also have a category called All. If I go to this All category, I am going to see every task that I am involved with, even the task coming from Microsoft Planner. So if somebody was in a planner, which I'll show you in a minute, and they assigned a task to you, you're going to be able to see those here. Not just in Planner, you can see those through To Do as well, because they're related to you. And To Do is all about you. It's what you need to be working on. So it's a great place to start your day, to know, what do I need to be working on? So this All category is organizing the tasks into groups. So right now I'm actually seeing plan task. And if I scroll down, I can see flagged emails. Then I have tasks. So just so you see, there's these different categories that it's organizing the tasks into. Once again, I have different views at the top. If I click grid view, this is what grid view looks like. List looks like this. Grid looks like this, all depending on what it is that you need to see. But also, a little bit beyond our scope today, but at the top right, I have different sorting options and grouping options. I could group by categories and different things. So always look at the menu choices depending on the area you're in, because you will get different options depending on where you're at. So this is going to be everything that is related to me. And notice one of those categories was actually flagged emails. So those are the messages back in Outlook that were flagged. They show up because when you flag something, you're saying you want to mark it as something you need to do. So they are also included in your list. There is a special category on the left-hand side just for those, just so you know. On the left, if I go to this category called flagged emails, I will be able to see any messages that had been flagged. So I have 2 of them that had no date to them, but just so you could see, I've got these different categories and these 2 lists as well. List view, or views, I should say, list versus grid. So I'm on list right now, and these are 2 flagged emails that really did not have a date to them. Because when you flag an email, you can assign a date. You could put in a due date, a start date, etc. Just so you know, you can have different dates related to them. Then it organizes it by dates as well, as an option. Lots of choices. I really like that. I want to be able to see what I want to see at any given time, so I like the abilities that To Do gives us. But back to the left-hand side. Recently, not too recent, but recently, Microsoft added another category called completed. Every time you mark a task as being completed, it filters to this list called completed. So these tasks always stay here until you delete them. So when you're completely done with a task, you can delete it out of the list. But sometimes I keep them until I'm done with whatever it is I'm working on. Then I'll go back and get rid of all the tasks that I don't need to keep. They're done. We've finished everything related to it. We'll move on. So just so you know, this is an area that you will want to keep cleaned up a little bit. If you don't need something, you definitely want to come over and delete it. You can right-click on the task name itself in any of these views. You can right-click on it and then add it to my today, my day. You could mark it as important, take it off being important, change the due date, or delete the task. So if I know I completed this task, I never need to see it again, I'll just do delete. Are you sure you want to delete it? I click delete and it's no longer in my list. So we want to clean those up when you're done. But how did they get marked to begin with? How did they actually get marked as completed? Well, I'm going to go back to the left and click tasks. There's this circle on the left-hand side of these tasks. So once a task has been completed, click the circle in front of it, it marks it as being complete. So it goes to the completed category. It didn't delete them, they're still here. So remember, you need to go to completed to clean things up periodically if you never need to see those tasks again. So great options. So back to the left-hand side again. There's another category that I want to talk about besides completed, and that's called assigned to me. If I click this category on the left called assigned to me, this is going to show me all the tasks that coming from planners, I've been assigned to these tasks. So I have one called entertainment. It's part of the department meeting for HR employees, and it's overdue as of yesterday. I could see that. And I'm in the list view right now, just so you're noticing. But if I click that task, you could see on the right-hand side, it's showing me different details than the regular task I started with. On the right-hand side, I can add steps. I can add it to my day. I could see it was overdue yesterday, but I could also open this in the planner it's coming from. So it's not giving me the rest of the details here, like I saw with a regular task in To Do, because it's actually coming from Planner. So if I click open, it's actually going to open me, it's going to directly open into the area of where that task was located at. This particular task was coming from a loop component, which is another way we could keep track of tasks. Whole nother class we do on loop, but I was assigned to a task from a meeting. It keeps track of it in my to-do because it's related to me. So if you use Teams meetings, you have that agenda capability at the bottom, which is a loop component. And part of that, it has the agenda, it has the meeting notes, and at the bottom, it has the loop component for keeping track of tasks. If you assign a task to somebody in there, it's automatically added to their to-do. Fantastic, because I want to be able to keep track of what's going on with something. So because I clicked on the link to this to open it, it took me right to that loop component from that previous meeting. Talk about being integrated from one place to another. This is fantastic. Now I'm not going to keep that open. I'm going to close it right now, but just so you know what that did. So if I go to a different task on this assigned to me, like this one called Hire Now for Warehouse. On the right-hand side, I have open in Teams, not just open. With the last one, it said open. This one says open in Teams. If I click on open in Teams, it's going to take me directly to Microsoft Teams, and it's taking me directly to Microsoft Planner, where that task is located at. It opened the task itself. So that task was coming from a shared plan through Planner. So you could see it open to the task called Hire Now for Warehouse. This is old because the due date was back in 2024. But let me actually change that. And let me say that this is actually due. I'm just going to navigate here a little bit to today. And I'm going to say it's due the 13th of October. I could make any updates to this task, even though it's part of Planner. I can be making updates to it through that link directly from To Do because it's a task that I'm assigned to. Love this capability. I don't have to go to just one place to know what I should do. Or I shouldn't say that. I don't have to jump through hoops and go to multiple places to know what I need to do. I can go to one place instead. Makes my life so much easier. But anyway, when I'm done, all I have to do is close that task, and here's all the other tasks that are in that planner. Now, I'll come back to Planner here in just a few minutes, but let me finish up here with Microsoft To Do before I dive into that. So these tasks that are assigned to me can be coming from somewhere else, whether it's a loop component or a planner. If I'm assigned to it, I will be able to see it directly here through To-Dos. Back to the left-hand side again, I have a bottom part to this window where right now in mine, it says upcoming training, HR insurance, marketing, but I'm going to kind of start at the bottom and talk about what exactly are they. These can be lists because what if you're going to be working on, I need to do a new workflow that is going to be related to taking files from a SharePoint document library, and when the metadata changes, I have to automatically update it someplace else. And there's a lot of detail that I need to do to complete that. I could create a list for it. So if I go to the bottom left and click New List, I basically am going to type in a name for that list right now, then press Enter. So I'm going to say SharePoint Workflow. Once I press Enter, on the right-hand side of the screen, it opens that list that I named SharePoint Workflow. Now I can start adding in the tasks that I need to do. I need to create a Visio diagram. I need to talk to the current users. I just keep adding in my list, and I can always go back to these tasks and make my details. So of course, if I go back and click on any of these tasks, I have the rest of the details on the right-hand side that I can complete. But on the left-hand side of my screen, it's storing all of those tasks in that list, all grouped together. So if you have a bunch of tasks that are going to have steps to them, this is an easy way for you to personally organize all the tasks related to one topic. But as you can see, I also have some groups. I have a group called HR Insurance and one called Marketing. Inside each of those, I have two different lists. Under the HR Insurance group, which I created going to the bottom, where next to where it says New List is an icon to create a group. When you click that, you give the group a name. So maybe mine's going to be called Workflows. I can have this group called Workflows that I can move my SharePoint workflow into that group. So I can have one category with multiple lists. So I put mine in based on how they're related to each other. So everything related to HR insurance, those lists go under that group. Everything related to marketing goes under that group, but they are maintained as individual lists. So like my HR benefits, here's the task for those. Insurance for 2025, I could have those lists. My social media, etc., etc. I can have multiple lists inside a group. So great ways to keep yourself organized and great options to be able to see what you need to work on. Whether it's coming from Planner or it's something that is in your to-dos or flagged emails, you will have, or loop components, you're going to have access to them here. Going to the All category will show you everything. Okay. Now, I accessed To Do from Outlook. Is that the way that I do things? Sometimes, yes, but sometimes no. Sometimes I actually go directly to Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to jump over to Microsoft Teams, and you know on your left-hand side how you also have Teams. So you go to Microsoft Teams, you have Teams. This is a very common place to actually use a plan. So in Microsoft 365, we have to-dos. To-dos are for you. They're your individual tasks that you need to be responsible for. Planner is another app, but it's built for sharing a task list. It's built to be working with a group of people, working with teams. Now, I can use it, I can create a plan and use it through Microsoft Teams, inside Teams in a channel. Every channel in your team can have a different plan related to the channel, but I don't have to. I could actually go directly to the app called Planner. Let me show you that. So if I'm logged into my Microsoft account online, where I have access to all my apps from the Apps Launcher, on the right-hand side, I could actually go to Planner. Now, I don't see Planner right now, so I'm going to click All Apps. From here, I'll have access to Planner. So let me scroll down here. There's Project. Did I miss my icon? Bookings, Excel. Oh, there it is. I was looking for green instead of blue. I was looking for the icon. But anyway, once I come in, I could open up Planner and have access to every plan I am a part of. Even if I didn't create the plan, if I was assigned to a task inside that plan, I can have access to it from here. So this is the full app of Microsoft Planner. On the left-hand side, notice that we have My Day. Those tasks that I added earlier to My Day through To Do, they're here because they're connected. They work together. We have that integration back and forth together, which is great. Also, though, on the left-hand side, I can click My Tasks. When I do that, I have different views, grid view versus board view, depending on how you want to see things. Then I have filters. Do I want to see all of my tasks, including the completed? Do I want my private tasks, which are tasks coming from To Do? Private means they're to-do tasks. I could go to Assign to Me, which are tasks that have been assigned to me from wherever, from other plans, from a loop component, etc. But I also have access to my flagged emails. So I have a lot of flagged emails that I've already completed, but I just didn't remove the flag from them. So it's still in my list that I could see. So just so you can see, we've got a lot of great options just by going to My Tasks within Planner, as well as going to To Do. But on the left-hand side, I have My Plans. My Plans is going to show me a list of every plan I am a part of. So I can see that this one's called SharePoint Workflows. This one is called FM Task List, which this, by the way, is a group coming from To Do. This one is coming from a team. This one is coming from a SharePoint site. Just so you know, they can be plans that are being used in different apps. I can create a plan and work with the plan here in this Planner app. Or I can create a plan and work with it in a SharePoint site. I can also create and work with a plan in Microsoft Teams. So it's an app that's part of your 365 that can be used different ways, all depending on what you need. Even if I create a plan in Teams, I can access it here through the app. As an example, I have this one called AP Tasks. If I click on it, here's my tasks that are a part of that plan. So I can see these different columns. These are called buckets. They're a way to organize the tasks. We organize tasks in buckets based on how they're related to each other. So if I'm doing project management, I could actually see, I could do like initiation, planning, execution, etc. I could have all my phases as different buckets, all depending on what it is you need. But how does the task get added? Well, this particular plan is part of my accounting department team, accounts payable. So this is a task list that we have for all of us that work in accounts payable. We can assign tasks only to the people that are a member of that team. So we have memberships with our plans. Because when you first create a plan, if you're creating a new plan here in the planner, you're the only member until you assign other people to join you in that plan. But just so you could see, if I go to this left-hand side under this to do and I click add task, I can type in the name of the task. So whatever it is I need to do, I need to create an agent for accounts receivable. I press enter and I automatically have that task added. It's right here, create an agent for AR. But what if I need more detail? I can double click the task, or click the task, I should say. I have a full window instead of the right-hand side in to do. I have a full window of different things I can track. I can assign it to someone. These are all the members of this. I can't assign it to somebody outside of it, so to say. I can assign a label. I can put it in a different bucket. I could give it a start date. I could give it a due date. I could track the progress. I have priority. I can have it be reoccurring. I have notes. I have checklists, which are like the steps that we saw earlier. So for me to create this agent, I need to review current processes. I need to consult with IT. I would continue to add, these are the individual things I need to do to complete this task. I can attach files. I can type in notes. When I'm done, I just close the window. It automatically saves it because it's cloud-based, which means these are all available on your phone, tablet, any internet connection by logging into your Microsoft account, which is pretty great. And they're all this to-do and planner, they're part of your Microsoft license. So we don't have to pay extra to have access to these. Matthew, did somebody have a question?
Yeah, it looks like someone, they're wondering, there's a person here who works on their own, and they work on their own projects. They're wondering, would you suggest that they use To Do and not Planner, since they're only working on by themselves?
Yeah, if it's just for yourself, my first response is you could probably just do it in To Do. But as you saw when I went into these tasks, they do have some features that we do not get in To Do. So it's really kind of a personal preference. For me, to be honest, I put them in a list in To Do. That's kind of my go-to if it's a project just for myself. Okay?
Right, yeah. I have another question real quick, sorry.
Can I finish that one for just, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to add one more thing. I haven't shown all this yet, but when you're in Planner, another benefit to doing it, even if it's just your plan, is the views at the top. I'll show you those in just a moment. Okay, so what was your other one, Matthew?
Sorry, the other one is we have what seems a few people who they can't seem to locate Planner in their Microsoft 365. They're having to go to their Teams to access Planner.
Whoa, that would be strange. So when they log in to office.com online, or however it is that they access theirs, when they go, let me go back to that screen here. When they're in their Microsoft account and they go to their apps launcher and they're looking at all of their apps, it's not listed. If they're in a domain, they might need to talk to IT about why it's not there. But the best part is you do have it in Teams. And to be honest, that's where I use it anyway. I don't use it from here. But that would be more of I don't know why it wouldn't be here, because it should. Because you should be able to see everything you have rights to from there.
Perfect.
Okay.
So maybe double check that app section on the Office 365.
Yes. Yeah. That would be a starting point. Yep. But what we were also saying with that is back in Microsoft Teams. So when I'm here in Microsoft Teams, how I personally use Planner is I don't go to the internet to do it. I'm already in Teams anyway. So on my left-hand side, I have a shortcut saved for Planner. If I click on it, I get exactly the same as what you just saw when I was on the internet. So I use it this way instead. I never go to the internet to open it like I just showed you. This is my go-to. How did it get to my left-hand side? I went to my View More Apps. Then I searched for Planner if I didn't see the icon. I clicked the icon. It opened on the left-hand side. I right-clicked the icon and pinned it. So it stays there all the time. Okay. So just so you could see, that's another way that you could use the same bells and whistles as we get as the Planner app online. You can use the app directly through Teams. Now, kind of back to the back to the Planner, and I'm just going to stay right here in Teams. I'm not even going to go back to the internet to continue. When I am looking at the left-hand side, I had all of my plans that I could go into. Up at the top, I do have different filter options because these are my recent plans. I could go into shared plans, personal plans, which include my to-do items, my pinned, because I can pin a plan. I can go into my teams, which have plans a part of the teams here in Teams. I can go into recommended. So we always have different ways to be able to filter what it is you want to see. So if I go back to my plans, which by the way, here's my pinned plans. So let me go into one of these pinned plans. I'm going to go into this one called tasks, and it's under my clinic SharePoint site, my general channel here in Teams. Here's that plan. I don't really have a lot in it, but here's that plan. Just so you could see, I could access that directly here in Planner from this left-hand side menu. Lots of ways to get to them. I don't always have to go to SharePoint or have to go to Microsoft Teams to access these. I can do it right from the Planner app. But I want to go back into that plan that I was in. So I'm going to go back to my recent, and I'm going to go back into that AP task that I showed you a minute ago online. I'm looking at exactly the same thing here. And one of the things that is important to understand is you get different views, which are powerful here in Planner. Up at the top, and this is going to depend on your license, so I'll explain that here in just a second. But for free, with your Microsoft account, we can do grid view, which is going to give you columns and rows of all your tasks. Board view is what you see by default, where it's organizing things into cards in their buckets. Okay. We also have schedule view. Schedule view is going to give you a calendar view of all of your tasks. We also could have charts available. This is a dashboard. I love this view. So these are things you're going to get for the free version of Teams. I'm sorry, Planner, of Planner. All those views at the top. So just so you could see, in this charts view, you're getting dashboard views of what tasks have started, which tasks, how many tasks are late. I can see things based on members. So there's different options that we will have, and these are live. As things are being modified in the plan, these are updating automatically. But I have an icon at the top of mine called Timeline. If I choose Timeline, it's asking me if I want to convert this to a premium plan. I'm not going to, but I do have a premium plan license. It is a separate license outside of your Microsoft 365 account that you could have a license to have additional tools related to managing a plan. It gives you more project management related tools like timelines or Gantt charts. You get more than that. You can have predecessors and successors. And it's unbelievable what you could do in there. I won't go into that today because that's outside of our scope of our class today. But just so you know, if you see timeline and you click on it, you may get a message saying, oh, did you want to upgrade your license to premium, etc. I'm not going to convert this to that plan, but just so you could see how that works. But let's back up. How do these plans get created? What if you're going to be the person that creates the plan? You're not just going to get assigned a task. One way to do it is if you need a plan for your team, go to your team in Teams, go to the name of the team and go to the channel. So let's say that I'm in the accounting department and I need a new task list for the managers channel. I'm going to go to managers. Under my accounting department, I'm going to go to the managers channel and I want to create a new plan. So we as managers can keep track of the tasks that we need to do. I'm going to go to the tabs at the top. I'm going to click the plus sign. I want to add an app, so I'm going to click apps. From here, I have a choice of all my different apps at the top. I don't see planner right there, so I'm going to say see all. From here, I could choose to add a planner. Where's my planner icon? Once again, I'm looking for the wrong color maybe. I'm not seeing planner on my list. Let me go to a different channel. Don't know why I'm not seeing it on that one. Anyway, just so you can see, I'm going to go to the plus sign. I'm going to go to apps. There's my planner. For some reason, it wasn't in that. Oh, sorry. That was a private channel. But anyway, just so you could see, I can go to planner in a channel and create a plan that we're going to be able to assign tasks related to the name of this channel. I'm going to click save. It's setting up the planner tab. It's going to create a tab at the top. It is going to be generically called planner, but you can change it. I'm going to click create a new plan. I can choose the type of plan I want to create. There's templates, or you can start from a blank. I do have premium and I do have plan with project manager, which is in preview mode right now. I'm not going to worry about those today. But just so you could see, I have different templates that I can look at down below. I have a simple plan. I could do sprint plan. At the bottom right, I could go into see all templates, and I will have a category on the left-hand side of all the different templates that you could use to get started with without starting from scratch. Let's say that I need to do an event planning. We are going to be doing, for the accounting department, we're going to be doing a blood drive. We're going to host a blood drive or something. I could choose event planning. You could see that depending on which one you want, there can be some other tools that need to be involved with it. But just so you could see, you have all of these different options to choose from, all depending on what you need. Now, I could just start with a blank, but let me actually go into event planning just to show you that on the right-hand side, it's going to tell me it's a premium template. So I would have to have the premium license to use that specific template, but it's going to show you a preview of what it would look like. If I go to simple project, I can have that be premium as well as just a regular as well, just a basic. But just so you could see, there's a lot of different options. I'm seriously just going to choose simple plan. I'm going to click use template. I can give the plan a name. And I'm going to say that this is going to be related to, I'm in the chart of accounts. I'm going to name it chart of accounts planner. We can then add our tasks to this plan, assign the task to everybody that is anybody that's a member of this team could be assigned to a task within that plan. So this is going to be one way to create a plan. But this way, it's directly linked, connected to this team, to that channel. It will be a tab at the top, and you always know where you can get access to it. But could I do that same thing just back in Planner? Yes. I could actually go to Planner on the internet, log into my account, go to Planner, and I can create a new plan from here as well. I would go to the bottom left of the navigation pane on the left-hand side. When I click New Plan, I get that same window. I'm going to choose Basic. I would give the plan a name. So maybe this is going to be a blood drive that we're going to do. I could pin this plan so it stays pinned on the left. I could add it to an existing group if I wanted to, but I'm just going to click create to show you. I have this blank plan that only I'm a part of right now. I could start creating buckets to organize the tasks into, different categories. But what if I want to share this with somebody else? It doesn't have to be part of a team. It doesn't have to be part of a SharePoint site. I might have a totally different group of people I want to have work with me on this. I could go to the top right. I could click share. I could create a group, or I could add this to an existing group. I'm going to click create group. Down here it says add members to create a new group. I'm going to put in who do I want to add to this? Who do I want to be a part of this with me? So just so you could see, I could go to my global address list, start putting in everybody that I want to have available for this, click create group, and they will be members that I can go back and manage. I can remove people, add new people, whatever the case is, just so you could see you could do that. So we have the details that we can manage because we created it. We're by default the owner of it. But then we can start coming in, creating our tasks. We can choose assign, and we can only assign to the people that we added. But what if I want to assign this to somebody else? If that person isn't in my global address list, it's not going to show up. But if I have rights to add people from outside my organization, I could put in their email address and assign this to them. And let me see if I can get to. So this person is not a member. It's my Google account, just so you know. I'm going to say this person is a non-member, but I want to assign this task to this person, even though they're not part of the team right now or part of this plan. I'm going to add that task. So here's this to do. That person is now a part of this group. Because I assigned a task to her, they also can get added as a member that way. So we have some great ways with our Microsoft 365 applications to be able to keep track of our tasks. If a task is just for you, it's a task that you just need to manage and you have to do something, you want some reminders to remember to do it, you want to keep track of when it's due, those kind of things, use to do. But if it's going to be something that you want to work with other people, you want to be able to take advantage of these other capabilities that Planner has that go beyond what we get with to-dos a little bit. Well, if you have Planner Premium, it goes a long ways, but even just the regular, we got those great views. I like using Planner. Choose Planner instead of to-dos. It's going to be a personal preference on which one will work best for you. I personally use Planner most of the time, but I definitely have, these 1, 2, 3 type tasks that I need to take care of. They don't need to be in a big plan. They're just individual tasks that I'm working on. They're not connected to anything else. To do is my choice for that. And as you saw, we've got different ways we can access them. My serious go-to, though, is going to Microsoft Teams, on the left-hand side, going to Planner. Because that way I know I can see what tasks am I working on today by going to my day. I can go into my tasks, and if I want to see private tasks, which are my to-do tasks, I have a filter icon at the top for private tasks. Now I can do grid view or board view. If I want to see everything I'm assigned to, I can do that as well. I can go to my plans and see every plan I am a part of. Whether I created it or I'm just assigned to tasks in it, this is every plan I'm a part of. And here's that blood drive one I just created. Okay. I can also access plans coming from SharePoint or Teams by going to this pinned category. So like if I go to this one called 2025 advertisements, this is actually the plan. I don't have to go someplace else to get to the things that I need quick, easy access to. So I hope you picked up on some differences between to do and planner and how they are integrated, not just with Outlook, but integrated with other parts of Microsoft as well. But they do have that great integration with Outlook because notifications and everything, once you get assigned to a task, that all flows back through Outlook.